Professor Gupta, would you like to please get started?
Yeah, we will start now, and we are very grateful for the presence of the Honorable Minister for Science and Technology and Health Sciences and Minister of Health and Family Welfare. You have been a champion of grassroots innovations, of student innovations, of innovations by professionals and scientists, and the remarkable achievement that India has made in COVID-19 pandemic. Our positivity rate is one of the lowest, our recovery rate is one of the highest, more than 92%. It is all because of your leadership and your sustained inspirational support to the scientific community of the country, which has done admirable work. So we will request, I would like to begin with a short review of what we have achieved in the last few years, particularly last year after the Gyati Awards were given, and brief you about some of the achievements that our students have made over the period. I would also like to share with you the fact that the overall idea of DBT and particularly Dr. Renu Sarup and direct team has been that we should encourage the Jati awardees to set up biotech entrepreneurs, biotech enterprises. And you'll be happy to know, sir, they have been able to mobilize more than 10 crore of investment and grants from various schemes of the government. So this is an admirable achievement of our students who have not only solved the unmet needs, developed innovations for solving our unmet needs, trying to provide extremely affordable solution, but they have also, in many ways, set up enterprises. They have filed more than 33 patents. They have had more than 100 publications. 2 of them have published in Nature. So they are achieving the outstanding standard of excellence in all the fields. I would like to mention that. If you look at the overall trend from 2015, when this partnership between SETI and BIRAC started, we can clearly see 2 trends, sir. First trend is that as far as awards are concerned, they have generally gone to the elite institutions with exceptions. IITs, CSR labs, ISER, University of Sciences, Jordan Center for Advanced Research, such institutions. If you go into the second level institution. But when it comes to appreciation to the students, we have far more distributed network. We have reached far more cities and states when it comes to appreciation awards. But when it comes to awards, IIT Delhi, IIT Madras, IIT Kharagpur, IIT Kanpur, University of Sciences. These are the institutions where I think most of the awards have been concentrated. But this is to be expected. We are of course very concerned that the gap between the top institutions and the institutions in the second tier has not yet become narrower. And this is a cause that we will all have to work towards how to build capacity of the students in the second tier institutions or less, let us say, renowned institutions. How do we bring among the students from these institutions similar excellence, similar talent as we have been able to achieve from the top institutions? So this is one of the challenges that the awards have, and we will try to achieve this. We will close this gap as soon as we can. I would like to mention 2 of the very outstanding achievements, 2 or 3. One is Dr. Vikas Pandey, who had developed, if you remember, sir, who had converted an ordinary microscope into a fluorescent microscope, so that even in our primary health center, one could afford a 50,000 rupees. So 25,000 rupees microscope and 25,000 rupees attachment. He got 50 lakh award from the Gates Foundation Welcome Group and BIRAC partnership, and has been able to take the idea forward. We also have another student, Ravi Prakash. Sir, he got an award of $25,000 at BRICS Summit in Brazil. He had developed a very interesting innovation, a bucket which will have cooling system. So when you build the cow and buffalo, the milk will be cooled at NDRI. He had developed this. So he got the international. The third student who has achieved very outstanding recognition, Narayan Lal Gurjar, he only got appreciation. He did not get appreciation. And in 2008, he got that along with Shashi and Ankit. There were 756 teams that competed for Okinawa, Japan Startup Accelerator Program from 39 countries, and he was one of the few who were selected there. They might get 10 million Japanese yen funding, those who are able. He's still in Japan. So our undergraduate, he is an undergraduate student. Our undergraduate students, our postgraduate students are trying to achieve outstanding standard of excellence around the world, and we are very proud of that. So the Jayesh Kumar Mewada Sitara Jati Award last year, sir. He was invited to G20 Youth Summit. He was recognized by the Earth Award 2020 by United Nations. He was also got nominated for Global Restoration Program 2020. So there are students who are getting recognition at the UN level, who are getting recognition at the international programs, who are getting recognition within the country and taking their ideas to the new height. I'm sure that with your blessings and support of Dr. Shekhar Mande, Director CSIR, Dr. Renu Swarup, Secretary DBT, Dr. Mashelkar, who is the chairperson of our board, Secretary Board, and also is a former Secretary, Director General of CSIR, and a great supporter of the innovation movement in the country. We will be able to excel even more in solving the problems that are there before the country. Most of the innovations that have been there in Sitare Jati partnership are actually in the health sector, sir. So your twin role is an ideal condition for us for a rapid testing of these ideas so that these ideas go to field as early as possible. So we said if you could develop a fast track program for taking these ideas to testing stage, widespread testing, because most of the students wouldn't have funds to create large scale testing. So this is the gap in the innovation system. We have support for making prototypes, we have support for setting up enterprise. But when it comes to large scale testing in the country, we still have to fill that gap so that an idea which is good, so let's say gets tested in 500 primary health centers or get tested in 1,000 primary health centers. That data will only come with the support of the states. Private sector cannot generate that data as easily, and we will not probably trust also the data because public institutions have their own standards to keep and are able to maintain that integrity that we wish in our evaluation process. So most of the startups, particularly the ones awarded under Sitare Jati Award, would need such a support for large scale testing so that their ideas can be robustly evaluated and then their scaling up can take place in the health program and other programs of the country. Sir, I'm very grateful for the support that you have been giving us, and I'm sure when the students will listen to you today, they will be inspired by your constant encouragement to the students, to the young talent of our country, which has achieved so many benchmarks and global standards in excellence. We will now request Dr. Mashelkar to share his thoughts.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Professor Anil Gupta. Our most revered, most respected Dr. Harshvardhan ji, Namaskar. Dr. Renu Swarup, Dr. Shekhar Mande, Professor Anil Gupta, proud awardees, ladies and gentlemen. Let me extend my personal warm welcome to you all. Before I get into the award function, I wanted to say something, Honorable Minister. You know, what you have been able to do during this pandemic is absolutely phenomenal. Science has been given its rightful place. Science that solves, science that is actionable, and science that makes a difference to the society has been brought to the core, to the forefront. And to such an extent, sir, that I'm very proud to tell you that last week I was invited to give in the US-India Business Council, which was held, the meeting was held in Atlanta, the opening address in the technological session on the first day. And the title of my talk was Science, Technology and Innovation, and it's back to the coronavirus pandemic and how we were able to achieve what we have been able to achieve. So I feel, as an old warrior in this, very, very happy and proud. So want to thank you for your fantastic leadership and thank the scientific community for what they have been able to achieve. And sir, I'm very happy to tell you that besides talking about what great job DBT, CSR have done, almost 50% of my talk was on what startups have done, the way they have risen, and they have created solutions. It is absolutely incredible. So I think the country, the nation is on a higher. I'm delighted that Srishti has brought to the fore young talented students, innovators in life sciences in collaboration with BIRAC, which has been a phenomenal program, DPT, which has provided this great leadership to the Sitare Gyati Award. Sitare is stars, and we don't want our stars to twinkle. We want them to shine, in this global setting. And taking that Sitare as a symbol forward, I would say Sitare is something that is outside, but I think there has to be a Sitara inside. In terms of the purpose and the North Star, symbols matter. So you will see, and Anil, I must congratulate you for this Gyati Awards book. I think your cover page is fantastic because it shows a North Star. अब वहाँ जिसको हम ध्रुव तारा कहते हैं ना, वो आपने दिखाया वहाँ. तो हर एक में एक ध्रुव तारा होता है, अपना एक ध्रुव तारा होता है, अपना एक नॉर्थ स्टार होता है, अपना एक पर्पस होता है. And that is why most innovators who have made breakthroughs in life set their eyes on their own North Star, so as to say, this is what I want to sort of achieve. Because finally it is the purpose, perseverance and passion that matters. In terms of perseverance, I always like to say winners are never quitters and quitters are never winners. And that's why I always tell young people that fail FAIL is first attempt in learning. Your last mistake is your best guru. And then you sort of persevere. And in our Honorable Minister, we have a brilliant example of that perseverance passion. Sir, you set up your purpose as polio-free India. And India is today polio-free. And the perseverance and passion with which you did it. So, this is a remarkable day for me today, by the way. First, 8 to 10 in the morning, I was with the Biocon function, Prakalpa. And I gave a keynote there. And as all of you know, Kiran Mazumdar started in 1978-86. She established Biocon. I remember I was a member of the board of TDICI, the first venture capital company. When that little girl starting from a garage with 10,000 rupees investment, today she's $6 billion, employing 11,000 sort of people. That was a startup, and we were just recollecting. What did we have at that time? It was an obstacle race. And so what has our government created today in terms of the startups for them to flower, in my terminology, not leapfrog, but pole vault to sort of great heights in terms of several people. So therefore, when I look at the Gyati Award winners and I see ideas, but ideas to impact is a tough journey where translational research becomes important. And that 15 lakh, in fact, we were talking about it. I mean, that sort of money at that time was not available at all. It was all struggle, So we can build these biocons of this world today. Why? Biocons, super biocons, we can actually build. A couple of other points I would like to emphasize. Our Honorable Prime Minister always inspires us with Atmanirbhar Bharat is what we want to do, self-reliant. But self-reliant India is not going to be something that's close, but it is open to global supply chains and wants to be sort of a leader, not make in India as an assembled in India, but invent in India. Basically, that becomes important. And also, not just for India, for the rest of the world. And therefore, what I found in the Gyati Awards was affordable excellence. Because normally when we say affordable, we say it can't be excellent. When excellent is not affordable. So making high technology work, I think it's sort of fantastic. So that would be sort of for both world. And therefore aspirations are possibilities and sort of keep them high. The last point I want to make is I want to commend BIRAC. It has been, as I said, a phenomenal program. DPT CSI has done an incredible job. 100 technologies in 100 days. I have watched with great admiration what CSR has been able to do. So I think we are all risen to this occasion. What we need to do is to remember this talent, technology and trust is the fulcrum on which the new India of our dream is going to build. We have all the talent as we see, we have the technology, the trust and helping them and believing in them is what we are doing by helping them to the translation purpose. So all that I would say is that the name itself, Gandhian Young Technological Innovation, conveys so many things. The moment you say Gandhian, it is compassion. We already talked about the purpose and passion. And of course, we are talking about technological innovation. So innovation, compassion, and passion. I think these, along with the talent, technology, and trust, will take us to the rightful position that India has to occupy in the Committee of Nurses, which is up here. So thank you very much, Anil, for having me on this inspiring morning.
Okay, thank you, sir. Now I would like to request Dr. Sekhar C. Mandek, DG CSIR, to share his views supporting young, creative, and compensate minds. Thank you, sir. So over to you, sir.
Somebody has to unmute Dr. Sekhar Mandek.
Thank you. Somebody has unmuted me now. Thank you very much. Honorable Minister of Science and Technology, Earth Sciences, Health and Family Welfare, Dr. Harshvardhan ji, Dr. Masharka, who has been mentor of CSIR for a very long time and also regenerated CSIR in the 90s, Dr. Renu Swarup, my colleague, Secretary Deputy, Professor Anil Gupta, has been the champion of the innovation movement in India, and all gathered here. It's a very good day for all of us to be here together to promote innovation among the young people. I have personally visited Professor Anil Gupta's both Srishti as well as Honeybee network, and it has been absolutely impressive. In fact, last year around this time, we were in Ahmedabad together talking to all the young innovators, and it was phenomenal to see the energy among the young people who were there and who were presenting their ideas to a small gathering there. It is absolutely phenomenal. That leaves one with very, very good and very positive feeling that there is young India there, which is raring to go and make ourselves count, our country count, our people count. And it is absolutely fantastic. This year, unfortunately, in the COVID times, probably this kind of gathering would not have been possible. Otherwise, once again, we would have liked to be amongst all the younger people, younger innovators with Professor Gupta, and it would have been once again a very pleasing experience. But unfortunately, that's not possible. Having said that, the COVID-19 is an extremely difficult era, and it's a great tribute to Dr. Harshvardhanji's leadership itself that India has done so well, as Dr. Mashuga correctly pointed out, that amongst many different nations around the world, India's numbers, whether the recovery or whether the number of deaths per million, everything has been really kept very low. So India's response in general to COVID-19 has been absolutely terrific. And as Dr. Mashaka pointed out, it has everyone has played an important role in this, whether it be DBT, whether it be DST, whether it be all the IITs or the CSI system. All of them have played important roles in coming up with novel and innovative solutions. But more importantly, our younger India once again has stood up in forms of their startups or whatever. Sir, you will be pleased to know that NCL Venture is one of the Section 8 companies that CSIR has. It is run by the CSIR NCL, mentored by many people in Pune. So many startups have come up with some fantastic ideas, whether it be nasal swabs, whether it be thermometers, or whether it be oxygen cylinders. They have all been doing extremely well. And once again, the entire ecosystem has helped, DBT through its BIRAC, DST through its grants, and CSR through its mentorship. So it's very pleasing to see that everyone together has stood up in this fight against COVID-19. And we should be very proud that the entire system has promoted the younger innovators in the country in this respect. So very pleased to be here. Professor Gupta, thank you very much for inviting me here to be a part of this particular ceremony, and look forward to hearing more about the younger innovations. Thank you all very much. Jai.
Thank you, sir. Now, I would like to request Dr. Renu Swarup, Secretary DBT, to enlighten us about her vision on Sitare. and the partnership between BAREC and SWISTIC. Ma'am, over to you.
Thank you very much. And Honorable Mantri ji, Dr. Mashelkar, Professor Anil Gupta, Dr. Shekhar Mande, all the awardees who are here. It's such a pleasure to be here today, not just to virtually meet with all the awardees, but to have this opportunity to congratulate them for this very important achievement. But I must also say that while we do have 50 or large number of awardees and appreciation, for me, every innovator who came forward to even submit an idea becomes an awardee for us, because they are actually the winners. They have taken that risk to come forward. They have used their innovations to come ahead. So I would congratulate everybody who even put in their applications into this. Honorable Minister, sir, thank you very much. As always, your guidance, your leadership for us to take this whole innovation ecosystem forward, the message that you keep giving us to always have science which delivers to society. I'm sure that today, when you are amongst all these winners, it is giving you a lot of satisfaction and pleasure to see that what you have nurtured is today giving these excellent results. I have to at this point bring out very clearly that if today we are all very, very pleased with what response India has given in terms of the science solutions to the pandemic, as has been stated by all the previous speakers, we would immensely like to thank our Honorable Minister who has been behind this whole effort under the leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister, who today it is the foresight and the vision which has actually given us the results. And I would like to draw everyone's attention to the Startup India Action Plan, which was launched in 2016. Sir, you recall that at that point of time, we had from the Department of Biotechnology put up the Biotech Action Plan, and we had committed that by 2020, we will have 2,000 startups. The number 2,000 seemed very large at that point of time because we were hardly with about 100 startups or 110 startups who were into the ecosystem. It gives me great pleasure to inform you that we exceeded this target, in fact, doubled this target by 2000. Today, we have nearly 4,000 startups into the system. So in the time that we had set for ourselves for 2000, we have reached more than 4,000. This gave us the enthusiasm to be able to project a much larger target, which now for the 2025 that we are preparing our strategy, we've actually set 10,000 startups. And sir, I have a lot of confidence on this ecosystem that we have established, and I'm very confident that we will meet this target much before 2025. In fact, probably by 2022, when we are talking about a new India, we should be somewhere near this target. And how do I say that? What gives me that level of confidence? It is these young minds and these young innovators who have come forward that gives me this level of confidence. Sitare. This was a term that we had coined for our young students. So student innovations through accelerated research explorations. That's the acronym for Sitare. Dr. Mashelkar has given us today a new thinking of Sitare to have a Dhruv Tara as well. I'm sure each one of them will have a Dhruv Tara, sir, as we move forward. But these are the Sitare which are going to light up our whole ecosystem. And that's what their name implies. I still recall in 2015 sitting with Professor Anil Gupta to say, how do we bring these young minds to become the pipeline of innovators? Because if we have to talk about 10,000 startups, so we have to create a pipeline. And at that point of time, BIRAC had already established the big grant. We had the SPIR grant, we had the BIPP grant, we had set up a seed fund, we were in the process of setting up a seed fund. But we needed a very vibrant pipeline. And there it was important for us to pick up these young students, very innovative minds, but they needed mentors. They needed some recognition. They needed their energies. We needed to channelize their energies. And I think this whole scheme was to channelize those energies. Today, sir, in these last 5 years, and it gives me great pleasure that you have actually been with us in each of these 5 functions that we've had for recognizing these awardees. Initially at the Honorable President's house in the Rashtrapati Bhavan, and over these last 2 years, Last year it was at Vigyan Bhavan with the Vice President, and this year in this virtual mode that we are doing today. So we have over 100 such awardees that we have identified. What is there? How do we take them forward? And I think there is one key aspect that we are focusing on, and that is we initially were a little concerned about but I think today our effort is scale it to large numbers. It's important for us to sustain it, because only then can we be part or can be recognized within the global ecosystem. There are a large number of such initiatives that we have made, because many of these students who receive the awards from your hands today would have expectations that how are we going to sustain them. And I think a point which Professor Anil Gupta has very clearly brought out, our effort now is to go pan-India, to go deeper into the tier 2 and the tier 3 cities. We've created the cream within the large cities, the large institutes. So we are moving forward now in this mentor-mentee institute concept. All our incubators, they have been asked now to take on the responsibility of becoming mentor incubators with as mentees, and they bring in a lot of other institutes. So we are creating a whole cluster approach. There, the DBT labs, the CSIR labs, the MHRD labs, the DST labs, they all play a very important role. And I would like to reassure you, sir, that hopefully next year, when you sit here to give awards to these students, you will actually see the shape of this network that we are creating with many, many large incubators. And this is basically to take forward the philosophy which we've all been discussing, Professor Gupta, Dr. Mashelkar, whenever we've had discussions. And I do recall that when Dr. Bhan created this whole ecosystem, when we were all sitting together, we kept talking about every lab becoming an incubator. And so that really is what our idea is today, that we make every lab an incubator. You'll be very pleased, sir, to note that today not only do you have the awardees here in the large gathering of over 200 people, but we have their guides with us today. And I think we have to recognize the mentors who have guided them. So it's not just the innovators which need to be appreciated and awarded, but I would like to place on record our sincere appreciation of the mentors, of the guides. It's how they are guiding them, how they're encouraging them to take on this innovation, to come forward. This whole concept that we have created, and all the previous people have spoken about it, the whole concept that we have taken forward through BIRAC, DBT has worked with BIRAC, and BIRAC is our vehicle to take this forward. I'm very pleased, sir, at this point to bring to your kind notice that this model is now being appreciated. We had the Parliamentary Standing Committee putting this on record to say that this model needs to be emulated in other sectors. We had the Niti Aayog putting it out for other sectors. I think this can be done, because more for anything else, biotech cuts across all sectors. It's not just health, it's health, agriculture, clean energy, sanitation, you name it and it's there. So I think, Professor Gupta, our effort now is to go with BIRAC, Shrishti, to other ministries, to go to ICR, to go to ICMR, to see how we work with them, bring in their institutes. And so going outside the science ministry now to other agencies and see how we could bring them into this ecosystem. We have already been able to establish this ecosystem. Once again, I would like to compliment Professor Gupta. I would like to congratulate my own team in DBT and BIRAC for the large effort they've put in. So this team in BIRAC is also driven by young officers who themselves have become innovators, not in terms of bringing out products, but in innovating processes. I think this whole model through which we have brought out new models of funding also deserves to, is an innovative model of processes that we have brought out. And I think this also needs to be recognized and appreciated. So I would like to compliment them for this. And lastly, sir, I would like to once again say that this entire team of Shrishti, which has worked with these young innovators, I do recall also sitting with Professor Gupta and all these young innovators, they have also set up what they call this BIS, which is a workshop that they do for students from across different sectors, and that is becoming a pipeline. So if you see, our pipeline is going, sir, now deeper and deeper. For the innovation, we started with big. We took them as young entrepreneurs. We've now moved to these Gaiety Awards. We are now moving to students. And in the larger aspect, which our Honorable Minister has always been talking about, students coming from remote districts, from remote villages, from our aspirational districts. Professor Gupta recalls, we have been discussing this. Your next project, which is already in discussion, is how do we bring these students into it, so that all our young students become innovators. And we will then lastly connect it with the larger Atal Tinkering Labs, because that's really how this whole ecosystem will close. So once again, thank you very much, Professor Gupta. Thank you so much for the entire team, and I would like to thank our Honorable Minister for giving so much of time during this COVID pandemic, and all our startups who have stood up to bring out solutions to this COVID pandemic, the science solution, and the young innovators. We are very confident that your innovations will be the next lot of innovation which will start impacting our system. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Now we proceed to the award ceremony preceded by a 1-minute video film on Honeybee Network.
बोल दो उसको।
From Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, for the development of a portable diagnostic platform for rapid, level-free phenotyping of breast cancer. Next is Siddharth Srivastava from Indian Institute of Technology, Kanpur, for the development of multipurpose proctoscope. Next is Nagar M from Indian Institute of Technology, Madras, for the development and innovation of an affordable and easy-to-use optical biosensor for men LAM in need for tuberculosis diagnosis. Next, we have Sumanta Laha from Indian Institute of Technology, Kharagpur, for the development of an automated cardiovascular applicator for the online assessment of cardiac assist devices, prosthetics, and beyond. Next, we have Mona Lisa Patnaik from Indian Institute of Technology, Kharagpur, for the development of polyunsaturated fatty acid, PUFA, and antioxidant-rich vegetable oil powder for healthy heart. Next is Vibha Shitole from National Institute of Pharmaceutical Education and Research, Ahmedabad, for the development and innovation of a user-friendly, affordable device for self-blood microsampling for diagnostics and pharmaceutical applications. Next, we have Vinod PG from SCMS School of Engineering and Technology, Kerala, for the development and innovation of an artificial deep learning brain actuated lower limb exoskeleton for pets. Next is R.K. Sunil Richard from Indian Institute of Technology, Madras, for the innovation and development of nanofiber yarn suture, a medical device. Next, we have Sumit Kumar Singh from National Dairy Research Institute, Karnal, for the development of electrochemical impedance-based sensor for signal sorting in cattle. Next, we have Shweta Pant from Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, for the innovation of a novel, low-cost, non-invasive eye tracker using fiber optic sensor. Next is Prem Dakshi from the Institute of Technology, Technology and Science, Pilani, for the development of first-step care in medical ventilators. Next, we have Ravindra Gaikwad from Indian Institute of Technology, Madras, for the development and innovation of a continuous monitoring of gastrotransmitters for early-stage management of systemic inflammatory response syndrome, that is SIRS, using microfluidics platform. Next, we have Deepa Dixit from Indian Institute of Technology, Gandhian, for the innovation and development of a non-electric and affordable surface engineered particle-based point-of-use water disinfection. Next, we have Shivraj Vasandrao Nayak from Institute of Chemical Technology, Mumbai, for the development of nanotechnology-based intradisciplinary formulation for the effective treatment of Alzheimer's disease. We will now begin the Shrishti GYT Award 2020. The first awardee is Modi from Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay, for the development of an inexpensive deep tissue blood flow measurement system using low frame rate camera. Next, we have Rajesh Srinivasan and his team, that is Vikram S. and Neeraj N. Jadhav from Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, for the development and innovation of a novel CD4 cell count method for HIV-infected patients using hematology analyzer. Next, we have Gunjan Patel from Indian Institute of Technology, Madras, for the development of InverFit, that is wearable device for orthopedic and neurological disorders patients. Next, we have Varinder Singh and his team, that is Arminder Singh, Gurdeep Singh and Nitika Dhingra from Chitkara University, Punjab, for the title Moksh, that is convert crop waste into wealth. Next, we have Souvik Ghosh from Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, for the title A Method and a System for Remotely Controlled Manipulation of Nanomaterials in Fluids. Next, we have Jaswinder Singh and Gurbinder Singh from Indian Institute of Technology, Madras, for the development of a patient-specific customized shaped vascular stent by 3D printing technology. Next, we have National for the development of sediment microbial fuel cell as a renewable power source in remote area. We will now start the Sitare GYTI Appreciation Awards 2020. The first is Ali Arshad Kumar from Indian Institute of Technology, Madras, for the development and innovation of a real-time ultrasound-based acoustic imaging to track spatio-temporal evaluation of hotspot in high-intensity focused ultrasound and microwave hypothermia. Next, we have Sonali Nayak from National Chemical Laboratory, Pune, for the innovation of tannin-based mouth fresheners. Next, we have Sanjay Devnath from Tripura University, Agartala, for the development of protocol of commercial cultivation of noble white edible mushrooms of Tripura, Northeast India, and evaluation of their biological properties. Next, we have Vijay Lakshmi from Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay, for the development and innovation of a low-cost passive micro-device for platelet-rich plasma, that is PRP separation from human blood. Next, we have Aswati M. Nair from Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay, for the title Black Volatile Organic Compound Detection using Conductive Polymer Coated Chemical-Resistive Filter Paper Sensors. Next, we have Aritra Lahiri from Indian Institute of Science Education and Research, Kolkata, for the development and innovation of production of active chicken IL-17A by genetically engineered lactic acid bacteria lab from gene to biomedical application in poultry. Next, we have Pooja Kumari from Indian Institute of Technology, Madras, for the development of sustainable antimicrobial wrapping material from biopolymers. Next, we have Shubhangi Mahajan from American University, Noida, for the development and innovation of crop productivity and related value addition like rice by co-inoculation with nano-embedded mycorrhizal fungus, that is Pericormospora indica serendipita. Next, we have Tathagata Pal from Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay, for the development and innovation of colorimetric yes and no type swab-based detection of pesticides on agricultural produce. Next, we have Sugata from Indian Institute of Technology, BHU, Varanasi, for the development of polymer-based nanomedicine for the treatment of cerebral malaria. And next, we have Krishna Shivanand from Kumaguru College of Technology, Coimbatore, for the development and innovation of smart gloves for assisted physiotherapy. We will now begin the Shrishti GYTI Appreciation Awards 2020. The first award is Dilip Mahato and his team, that is Uttam Dev Purohit and Ashutosh Kumar from Indian Institute of Technology, Guwahati, for the title Disposable On-Site Kit for Discriminated Raw or Synthetic or Pasteurized Milk Based on Other Hospitals Indicator. Next is Syed Mutazir Andrabi from Indian Institute of Technology, Kharagpur, for the development of a ready-to-use hemostatic bandage for military and civilian trauma care. Next, we have Mukewani and team from CSIR, Indian Institute of Chemical Technology, Telangana, for the development and design of an indigenous atmospheric water generator for economical production of drinking water in the water scarcity arid and coastal regions. Next, we have Prashant Ram Jadhav and his team, that is Ramlal Panda and Sneha Mishra from Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi, for the development and innovation of a self-sustainable e-waste recycling generating from waste by zero discharge technology. Next, we have Shri Ganesh Subramaniam from Indian Institute of Technology, Kharagpur, for the development and innovation of a smart, flexible and multifunctional thermal and energy management systems for next generation electronic devices. Next is Pradeep Kiar from Jawaharlal Nehru Center for Advanced Scientific Research, Bangalore, for the development and innovation of harvesting delayed fluorescent event of perovskite quantum dots using vibrationally assisted delayed fluorescence, that is VADF. Next, we have Ramji K from SRM University, Chengalpattu, for the design of acetone breath gas analyzer in the evaluation of diabetes mellitus. Next, we have Ashish Kumar Sahu and his team, that is Harish Kumar, Hardik Arvindbhai Patel and Jitin Uda from the Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi, for the development and design of advanced CNC micro-machining system. Next is Shri Navya Kundaveti from Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay, for the development and design of NOT-IS, a currency identification aid for the visually impaired in India. Next is Sri Rahul Kumar Sunil from Indian Institute of Technology, Roorkee, for the development and innovation of recovery of lithium, cobalt and manganese values from discarded lithium-ion batteries. Next is Sangha Shubhra Das and Vinay Manasvi Pirivetti from Indian Institute of Technology, Kharagpur, for the title Electrical Power Generation from Wet Textile. Next is Parth Joshi and Poojan Gajjar from Indian Institute of Technology, Jodhpur, for the development of new electromechanical muscle fatigue measurement device. Next is Suresh Udhalapati and his team, that is Vijay Shivakti and Vaishak Kedambole from Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, for the development and design of highly sensitive scalable reduced graphene oxide with palladium nanocomposite as screen sensor. Next, we have Nagendra Singh from Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi, for the development of sustainable mosquito repellent multifunctional textile using micro-encapsulation of essential oils. Next is Vivek Singh from Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, for the title Decomposition Reactor designed for low-cost, low-temperature deposition of high-quality oxides films for next-generation electronics. Next is Ravindra and his team, that is Hargun Singh Grover, Suresh and Saurabh Singh from Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi, for the innovation of a new machine learning package to design novel functional classes.
Thank you. Now we would like to request our Honorable Union Minister Sir to kindly release the GYTI 2020 book. Thank you, sir. Now, we would humbly request our Honorable Union Minister, sir, to bless the young tech innovators so that the dream of Atmanirbhar Bharat is fulfilled under your leadership in tech innovation domain. Sir, please.
Secretary Biotechnology Dr. Renu Swaroop, DG CSIR Dr. Shekhar Mande, Professor Mashelkar, Professor Anil Gupta, all the young innovators who have been awarded today, and I understand that there must be many more scientists of the Department of CSIR, Biotechnology, BIREC, Srishti, Honeybee organization, all of them, I can't actually visualize who are present in this meeting, but as has been told that there are over 200 people who are attending this function. So first of all, let me wish you all good health and all my good wishes, because in spite of COVID and in spite of so many difficulties and restrictions and the hard times that the whole country and the world is facing, we have continued with our activity of honoring these innovators. I feel myself extremely privileged to have been a participant in virtually all the functions after 2014, when I took over as the Science and Technology Minister in November 2014. And most of these functions, they had been organized in the Rashtrapati Bhavan, in the dignified, with the dignified presence of our Honorable President of India. And they were extremely, satisfying moments, giving a lot of pleasure, and the very presence of people like Professor Mashelkar and Professor Anil Gupta, apart from our colleagues in the department in those functions, has also been very, very inspiring, because in spite of the fact that people like Professor Mashelkar, they retired long back, but they continue to guide the destiny of the young people. They continue to inspire people like us that there is no age for retirement. And I am always reminded of similar people like Professor Ranjit Rai Chaudhary, with whom I had the privilege to work quite closely during the last 25 years or so. So this is, I think, a great moment, and I have to congratulate all the people who are involved with this particular function and these awards. Our Department of Biotechnology, Dr. Renu Swaroop, our people in BIREC, people in Srishti, and then of course the Honeybee organization, Professor Anil Gupta, for all these Shodh Yatras that we could have a glimpse of in the short film that has been presented. And during the course of the last 6 years, I had the privilege to watch from the closest of quarters how these innovations work, and how these young people have been able to produce so significant outcomes that they have been not only honored here, but their innovations have further resulted in, as has been told just now, awards worth over 10 crore rupees and close to 100 publications in international and national journals, and even in prestigious journals like Nature, and then of course a lot of patents. So you see, this is a very, very, I think, inspiring story, and whatever we do for this particular cause, I think it always would require a lot of scaling up and supplementation with hundreds of new things, because innovations have changed the total complexity of the whole situation, and the way the innovations have been giving us outcomes which have started transforming the lives of the people. I would a thought that came to my mind just now while I was participating in this program, that after this program I would put a small committee of at least these 4 important people who are participating in this function: the DBT secretary, the CSIR DG, and the DST secretary, Professor Mashelkar and Professor Anil Gupta, and then add a couple of doctors also to this. And I strongly feel that in the next 365 days we should scale up this particular activity to at least 10 times of what it is. And to do it at least 10 times, you will require a good quality, very patient and very, I would say, focused brainstorming. I can give my ideas to that deliberation amongst you people, but I feel that you see, I was so happy to see that most of these, a significant number of these who were awarded today, they have done so much for the field of medical science. And all my life, having worked in the field of health for over 4 or 5 decades now, health has been my passion, it has been my heart and soul. It's, you see, association with health has always been a great privilege for me, and I have always dreamt about achieving this goal of health for all for India, which I am sure that India only has the potential to actually achieve that. And the example of India can, although the goal has been set by the World Health Organization, and it is also struggling hard over the years and over the decades to really be able to achieve that health for all by 2000, they said once, but in 2020 you can well imagine that the whole world is fighting with a small tiny virus, and it's almost a standstill sort of situation all over the world. So it has been a long cherished dream and goal, and I now, when I have in the last 6 years, and now with the potential that these young innovators have, and the way I have seen that working for tuberculosis, working for diagnostics, working for virtually so many diverse fields in the field of health, I feel that health also needs a lot of support of the scientific community in a very big way. And the process has already started. We are now seeing a good quality blend of science that is happening in the field of medicine, and the regular science, whether it is fundamental or translational or solution science, is all happening so well and so fast. And I always say that, and I repeat it again and again, and I always feel pleasure in saying so, that for me, after having worked in the field of health for over 4 decades and then to get associated with the field of science, it has been the greatest blessing in disguise for me in my life. And I have now that confidence that science has the ability not only to help the field of health deliver its long cherished dream and its long cherished goal, but it also has the potential to solve each and every problem, and even the most contentious issues, the most desired issues which are awaiting solutions for years and decades, and the people continue to suffer because of that, those issues. Science has the solutions. So what I felt was that now is the time when, after this big movement that was launched by the Prime Minister, the startup and the stand-up movement a couple of years back by our dynamic Shri Narendra Modi ji, and the results of that we have seen. I think within the country, no ministry may have contributed more than the Ministry of Science and Technology, DST, CSIR, biotechnology, to the cause of strengthening this startup and stand-up movement. The way we have supported thousands of these innovations and the young startups, and many of them have been able to produce and deliver very good quality results to the whole world. They have been able to become good entrepreneurs. We have done a good quality hand holding for them, and through their entrepreneurial skills, they have been able to, deliver a lot of very well-meaning and worthy solutions to the people of India on number of issues. Now the big issue that has been mentioned also, what I have felt after having been in touch with virtually scientists of all the fields that I have with me, and of course even I had the privilege to even visit other domains like ISRO also, to understand what's happening there also. So through all these fields, I think we have now enough of experience, enough of capability, enough of potential, and no doubt Indians possess the most powerful DNA, as Dr. Mashelkar rightly pointed out, that sitara, whether it is a normal sitara or a dhruv tara, I think that has to be ignited in everybody's heart and soul. And this is no rocket science to ignite this. This is just because my personal experience. You mentioned about the country being a polio-free country, and a certified polio-free country from WHO. But when I look at, I was neither born as a scientist, I was neither born as a very great researcher about things, but when I recall my own journey of having been blessed by God with a dream, and that dream was born, and the way I was blessed by God to have this dream and passion to work and see one day a polio-free India, it was just a coincidence. I was just supported with an idea by a few pediatricians, and who in fact helped me in getting that sitara ignited. And the only few sentences that they spoke to me, they said, "You are a doctor, you have got the privilege of becoming the health minister of the capital." That at that time I was not even the health minister of the country, and you have got this dream, you have got this information, you have got this knowledge, and you are that India is home to 60% of the polio affected children of the whole world. The capital of India is home to 10% of the cases that India has. And then they ignited me by saying that the place from where you got elected, that is the East Delhi, it was home to the maximum number of polio cases in the whole world. And then they told me, these pediatricians, small group of 3-4 pediatricians, they told me that, Dr. Harshvardhan, you have got this opportunity. There is a strategy that if you immunize all the children together, you can ensure that the wild polio virus in the intestine of the small children will be replaced by the vaccine virus. And since the virus can't live outside the body, so that's the only way you can one day be assured of success on the polio eradication front. So it didn't come on my own. It came because somebody gave the idea and I got the blessing of God. So we now have to, and you see, then it's a long journey that I put in my book, A Tale of Two Drops, and I was blessed by God that when the journey I started from being the health minister in Delhi, when India was certified a polio-free nation, I had incidentally become the Union Health Minister in the country in 2014. I myself received that certificate from the World Health Organization. So it is all, you see, the point that I am trying to make before these young innovators is that it is no rocket science to develop a dream. Pick up any good idea from anywhere. Look at the people around you. Look at the India around you. Look at the people who are living in the villages. Look at the poor people, the downtrodden, the have-nots, and see what they are suffering from. And look at, when you are working inside your laboratories, you will see that there are so many things that the scientists have already done. And there are so many ideas that you have been taught about. There is so much of science that you understand. You only have to reorganize your thinking, you have to reorganize your wisdom, you have to reorganize your ideas, and then there is the government supporting you from all fronts. Under Prime Minister Narendra Modi, I can assure each and every young entrepreneur who wants to be an entrepreneur, an idea person or an innovator, that there is this total support of the government. Whether it is, it's not only about financial support, it's all about technical supports, it's all about the support with ideas, it is all about the support of the scientific acumen of the scientific community. There are so many programs that we developed over the last 5-6 years. Our program like Jigyasa, where we are putting these over at least 75,000 to 1 lakh students in our CSIR labs. They spending 3-4 weeks there looking at science from the closest quarters. And I have said it so many times that if I had this privilege of when I was studying science in school, and if I had the privilege of going to the National Physical Laboratory and see with my own eyes how an atomic clock works, I would have preferred to become a scientist than a doctor, because you see, these are like these facilities are available to the young people of India right now. And at the helm of affairs is a man who is an extreme, I would say, visionary, a man who knows how to pick up the great idea, how to convert that idea into a program, how to convert that idea into a vision, and then to ensure that that vision is also translated into delivery for people, and then to how to monitor the implementation of that vision and idea, and then how to convert it into perceptible and measurable change for the society. So this is all, I always say that the present time is the most ideal time for India to grow. It is the most ideal time for the young people also to prove their worth. And it is also the most appropriate time for the scientific community to actually show their, you see, strength and power and their vision. And that we could see that during COVID times, you imagine what we were on 8th of January, we had just got this information from WHO that there is a new coronavirus, and people started working from that time. The activity started in the health ministry, but within a couple of months we could see that the contribution of the scientists was at least as much as the health community, but even on many accounts, even far more stronger than the people who were, you see, the health community worked in drafting guidelines, they worked for the creation of the new health facilities, they worked for the as corona warriors fighting the battle from the front. But the scientific community, it was a scientific community because of which we could, from a situation where we were starved of everything literally being produced in the country, now we have almost 1,000 kits for testing, validated by our own people, created by our own young people. And now in a country which was like shouting every day, time and again, where are the tests, where are the tests? Only a few thousand tests in a country as big as 135 crores. And today, every day, this country is doing over 1 million tests, from 1 to 1.5 million tests. There was a time when we had only one lab in the country, and today I feel so happy to tell you that we have 2051 labs in this country. And young friends, please understand, this is the same country, India, where a couple of years back, this test used to be sent, the sample and the swab used to be sent to the Center for Disease Control in Atlanta for getting this test done. And so now from that one lab, we have gone up to 2,000 labs. When we were importing these testing kits, we were paying huge exorbitant amounts for these kits, and now that amount has gone to literally, you see, significantly low levels because of the contribution of the scientists. And now when we assess the, you see, progress on the vaccine front, so we feel happy to say that amongst the top people who are on the advanced, you see, in an advanced position on the road to success, India is one of the front runners. We have been able to say with lot of confidence that by the middle of 2021, we should be able to immunize our 20-25 crore people, all our frontline workers, all our corona warriors, health workers, and all that, all we could say because of the might and the strength that the young scientists and the people working on the vaccine front. Again, we are a country who we got the virus isolated during the initial stages. Now we have biorepositories where almost 40,000 viruses are stored. Anybody can have access to them. Any young person can do the research on the virus. We have done genome sequencing between CSIR and biotechnology. We have done genome sequencing of over 2,000 viruses. So many things, whether it's a PPE kits, ventilators, drugs we were supporting 140 countries of the whole world. So that is why now with confidence we can say that when the Prime Minister talks about an Atmanirbhar Bharat, it's not just a dream, it's not just a slogan. It is what you have seen and what we have shown to the whole world. The way we worked during the last 10 months, from young to old, from medicine to science, every social sector, every NGO, everybody in the whole country, they had put in their heart and soul to see that we are contributing in the fight against COVID, we are contributing in saving the lives of our fellow brothers and sisters, our children, our older people. So that is why the Prime Minister again and again says, India has a strong DNA, we have the potential, we have the experience, we have the ability, and my journey around polio eradication has convinced me that every Indian has an inherent goodness and a feeling of, you see, selflessness which flows in his blood. Because when we mobilized the society for a movement like polio, I found not even a single person I can name, not even a single organization in the country I can name where there was no contribution from them. And so today, this came as an idea to me in this during the course of this meeting also, that when we have a very ambitious goal of eliminating tuberculosis by 2025, 5 years ahead of the international goal, we have a dream of ensuring that 100% children should get vaccinated for all the dozen vaccines through the universal immunization program. We should no longer have those missing children. We have a program like Suman where we have assured that the maternal health services are delivered to it's called the Surakshit Matritva Abhiyan, where there is zero tolerance to, I would say, denial of services in the country. That's another ambitious program. So many activities like this around eradication, elimination of diseases, and then of course the programs like this our Atmanirbhar Bharat, and of course the National Digital Health Mission, our PMJ. So many things are actually happening. They are all very huge dreams. Prime Minister wants to deliver a new India to every Indian by 2022, and then ultimately he wants India to be amongst the top 2-3 scientific nations. He wants ultimately all of us to grow up to the level of a Vishwa Guru Bharat, where our future is brighter than our glorious past. And he feels that this should not be his dream only. It should be the dream of every Indian. It should be the dream of every young person, every young scientist, every young innovator. So the only issue is, please diagnose the right issue, what we need to do. And once we have diagnosed, India has shown on number of occasions that the spiritual component of it, that if India decides, India does. If India dreams, India delivers. India has the capability to do that. So I would suggest that this program that we are doing virtually today, we should now, I think we have achieved a level. We have had success. There is consistency in this innovation program, and the type of innovations that I have seen either in Rashtrapati Bhavan or the ones that have been described or the ones that I have seen with my own eyes at the National Innovation Foundation in Ahmedabad, along with Professor Vipin Kumar and people like Professor Anil Gupta. I am confident that with the might that science has been able to create by now, and with the zeal and with the, I would say, jazba, the feelings with which our young people work, India can actually deliver a new India to all Indians, where everybody has a smile on his or her face, everybody's nutritional and health and educational requirements of all the children, they are taken care of. We can take care of the dignity of the older people, we can take care of the safety of the women, and one thing should only prevail in the country, and that is the values around humanism and the values around nationalism. This is what is required, and we have to, I think, now reorient all our programs, whether it is by Honeybee or Srishti or BIRAC or maybe other organizations, because it is now proved beyond doubt that the most important coefficient is innovation coefficient. And the most important economy is not about monies or whatever your GDPs are, it is about ideas. So how we can generate these ideas, how we can promote these ideas, how we can inspire the younger people to have ideas, how they can dream about big things, I think that is all that we further we should be focusing upon. And I am sure that with people like Professor Mashelkar and Professor Anil Gupta and our very distinguished secretaries in the department, and maybe there are so many committed people whom I have met in my life. I think there is no dearth of such people in the country. We have to put their heart and soul together. We have to put their brains together and see that as fast as possible, we are able to ultimately achieve our desired goals. Prime Minister has been talking about the scientific social responsibility at all these science congresses, and now in the Ministry of Science and Technology, DST, for the first time we are bringing about a cabinet note which revolves on the subject of scientific social responsibility. And it is so heartening for me that there is a cabinet note around science and the scientific social responsibility, and the new science technology innovation policy of 2020 is also about, you see, focus on innovation, also about focus on grassroots involvement, is also focus on inclusiveness and making it, you see, very, very wide. So many stakeholder consultations have taken place there also. So that is why I say it's the most ideal time for all good things to happen. And we should, though we lost thousands of people during COVID, we lost so many of our dear doctor colleagues and other nurses and other health workers. Their sacrifice should not go in vain. They should not go wasted. I think we should treat this corona also as a learning experience for many of our issues, so that in future we can plan things in a better way. We can plan health activities, we can plan, you see, mitigation of such viral diseases in a better way. And this is all possible if we have the support of the young people, these young budding scientists in all our prestigious institutions, and not only in the formal institutions but also outside the institutions with us. So with these few words, once again, I have no words to express my happiness and delight for these young innovators, for which I missed this year the chance of meeting them personally, because every year it used to be a meeting first in Rashtrapati Bhavan, and then it used to be a meeting at dinner in India International Center. This time we are not privileged to be meeting them personally, but I can assure you that as things improve, the time improves, and we are out of this COVID situation, we'll certainly plan to meet you all and ensure that we also take inspiration from you people, young people, to do better things in life. So thank you once again, all of you. Namaskar. Jai Hind. Bharat Mata ki Jai.
Thanks a lot, sir, for your blessings. Now I will request Dr. Manish and Direct to propose a vote of thanks.
Sir, it is my privilege to deliver the vote of thanks at this momentous occasion of recognizing the young minds through Sipahi Gaiti and Strictly Gaiti awards and appreciation. I wish to express our appreciation to Honorable Minister Dr. Harshvardhan ji for delivering a truly inspiring and memorable address. This recognition of the select students at the national level would stay with them as a perpetual source of motivation to translate scientific knowledge for societal good. We will certainly strive, sir, to scale up on scientific merit activities under your leadership for Health for All, collectively, and your kind support. We have dreams to deliver and address the unmet need through these efforts. The Gandhian Young Technology Innovation Awards in Life Sciences and other streams is an opportunity that has reached nationwide, covering awardees from 23 states and 57 cities of the country. Congratulations to all the awardees of this year's Sipahi Gaiti and Srishti Gaiti awards and appreciation. Thank you for coming on board and committing yourself towards this path